Hello everyone, I am Manisha Joshi, and joining me here today is Kemal Gasper, Vice President of Community Engagement with Vystar. Now, if you're like me and happen to be out and about in Jacksonville, you are sure to run into this fine gentleman who always takes time to help others, not only with his work, but even outside of working hours. Kemal, thank you so much for being here with me today.
Thank you so much for having me.
I love that whenever I run into you at an event, number one, you're sharply dressed. You always have a big smile on your face, and there's always something that you have your hands involved in. One of the things you told me earlier is that you're very compassionate about helping others.
Yes.
And as a former New Yorker who's now made Jacksonville home, you've got to share with our audience today, because it gave me chills to hear about your story when your mom and you both moved to Jacksonville and what kind of brought about wanting to help others.
So we moved to Jacksonville in 1996.
Wow.
So we were in New York. We had a small stint in New Jersey, South Jersey, right over the bridge from Philadelphia.
Okay.
And my mom is actually a former music producer.
Wow.
She actually is considered one of the first ever African-American female music producers in the advertising agency.
That's great.
So she is considered the jingle queen. So any organization that wanted to do a jingle back in the 70s, 80s, and 90s would call my mom. And she would bring in the artist. The great thing about that is she would pick her artist. And a lot of the artists that she picked were artists that are big names today. So Luther Vandross, of course, he's passed, but one of the best
amazing.
R&B vocalists of all time. Patti LaBelle, Al Green, Melba Moore. She would bring those artists in to do jingles. And in fact, Luther Vandross gave my mom credit for his signature voice. They were in a studio one day doing a jingle, and he did his Luther rift sound that he normally does or used to do. And the studio room went crazy.
Wow.
And my mom cut the tape. And she said, we're going to redo that over again. And he was like, why? The engineers were going crazy.
Yeah.
And she said, you need to put that on your first album. This is not for a jingle. And so when he got his award from BET, I believe it was the BET Hall of Fame award that he received, he said, you know, I would not be here today if it was not for Deborah McDuffie.
Wow.
And so my mom went on to work at the Apollo. She produced Apollo Amateur Night at the Apollo Theater in Harlem. And we relocated to Jacksonville. My mom wanted to retire, but start a career helping others. So that's why I get the gift of helping others. And she always wanted to be a school teacher. And she received a job at Jeff Davis Middle School on the west side. And we moved to Jacksonville, packed everything up in a U-Haul truck. My mom, myself, my brother, our dog, 2 cats. And we didn't have a place to stay, the whole family. We didn't have a place to stay. And we were staying at the Motel 6 off Youngerman Circle in Orange Park. And I remember the story. My mom came to me and she said, I went to school and I told in the new teacher orientation that we were homeless. And she said, you know, my name's Deborah McDuffie and we are homeless. We don't have a home. Me and my family are living in the Motel 6. And one of the gentlemen, his name was Randy Kaiser. I'll never forget Randy, Mr. Kaiser at Jeff Davis. And he said, Deborah, I have keys in my office to an apartment. It's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartment, no security deposit.
Yeah.
It's yours if you want it. And so
that's phenomenal.
When we came to Jacksonville, we were helped. Yeah. And that's what I want people to remember about Jacksonville is that we get a bad rap sometimes with the crime and education, but we're really a city that wraps our arms around people and is wanting to help people. And that's what I always tell people about Jacksonville. And that's why I love Jacksonville.
That's fantastic. Well, as a former Californian, so we're both from out of state, I do find that the way people help, whether it's Southern hospitality, wanting to lift each other up, wanting to improve our community, there are people out there that's their goal. And I love that this is a personal touch for you in helping other people. So I feel like the financial industry sort of found you and you found it. And I would love to know, and especially for our audience to know, what is it about the compassion you have in giving others that ties into what you do at Vystar?
So a lot of people don't know I used to work for Winn-Dixie for 8 years.
I saw that. When I was reading about you, I thought, wow, he started his career at Winn-Dixie.
Yep, started career as Winn-Dixie. And I transitioned to financial services after Winn-Dixie, but when I left Winn-Dixie, it was during the financial crisis, and I could not find a job. And so I ended up working at Advance America, a payday loan company, for a year. And I just remember people coming in, getting a payday loan. If you're not familiar with payday loans, it is a cycle. It is a cycle where you pay the loan back, and typically, if you borrow $500, you pay that $500 back, but you have to re-up or reapply for a loan because you have to pay your other bills.
Okay.
Especially if your paycheck's only $800 or $900 a month, you need that $500.
Yeah.
I told my team, I said, guys, we are the last line of someone getting their home taken away from them or their car repossessed, and we got to do everything we can to help people. And that's where
giving them a lifeline, yeah.
Yes, and that's where, in addition to how we were helped coming to Jacksonville, because again, we lived a very high lifestyle in New York and came to Jacksonville and had to rebuild. And so good things can happen to any type of individual. And so that's where my passion started for helping people, because there's so many people out there that were struggling.
Yeah.
And it just feels good to give back to people, especially when people invested in you.
Absolutely. Kemal, I love how Vystar is always doing things in the community. I mean, wherever I go, they're either sponsoring an event, they're helping give back via charity, or whether it's monetary or in-kind donations. So I am curious, what are they currently doing philanthropy-wise in the community right now?
Yeah, so we're doing a lot, actually. So last year, we'll go back. Last year, we gave $6.8 million, the most in the history of giving to 300 organizations across our footprint. And we focus our giving on our 4 pillars. So those 4 pillars are community building, military, youth, and credit unions. Okay. So supporting credit unions, we have a league, and the league helps credit unions thrive and continue to grow. So we give to the credit union fund on an annual basis. The youth pillar, a lot of people don't know that we have 18 high schools throughout Florida. So high school interns that actually run the branches. Okay. We call them student managers. And to me, that's what I love about Vystar.
That's what I love too, because when we were touring high schools for my daughter, the first thing I saw was a Vystar credit union inside Wolfson High School. And I thought, this is great, and what a wonderful way to teach kids financial, education, because they don't receive that. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I have been in working environments and teens don't even know what a checkbook is. Or just sort of balancing because they're used to the very plastic, and it's like, well, where's the money coming from? You have to pay it at some point. So I love that you're starting with youth. And Vystar has grown phenomenally. I mean, it was originally a military bank, correct?
Really, a military, military institution, and we've grown. We changed our name to Vystar in the early 2000s, and have grown. So people that thought of Vystar as, our local North Florida credit union, we're now in Orlando. We're now in Tallahassee. We're getting ready to open our second Tallahassee branch. In a couple months, we're getting ready to open our first Georgia branch in Thomasville. Wow. In a couple months as well. We're down into Titusville on the Space Coast. We have Melbourne getting ready to open in a couple months. Another Villages branch that's going to be opening. So
you're going to be traveling.
I don't travel that much, but I will travel if they need me. But I just love Vystar, again, just how much money we've given back to the community. And it's just good to, when people see you and they say, hey, you work for Vystar, you guys helped me with my car loan, my first ever car loan, or I was getting ready to get evicted, but Vystar stepped in to help me through that process because you guys really wanted to help me. And that's what it's about. A lot of people look at banking as transactional, and I've always been the mindset of it's transactional, but the outcomes are helping people. And if we're not out there helping people reduce debt, achieve their financial dreams, that's what it's all about, and that's what I love about banking, Vystar, financial wellness, and all of that.
I love that not only do they do all this in the community, they really take care of you guys. Now, everyone has heard of the Vystar floor, and there is no building like it in Jacksonville that I know of. Can you tell our audience what the coolest floor in Jacksonville? I mean, when I got to see it, I thought, what? I could nap in the afternoon while I'm at work? Can you share with everyone tell us about this floor?
Yeah. So the great thing, I used to work for SunTrust.
Okay.
So the SunTrust Tower is now the Vystar Tower. So I've seen what the building used to look like
Yeah.
and what the building looks like now. And the one thing that I appreciate about our C-suite is that they made the top 2 floors the employee lounge or employee lounges, employee space. And so we have an ice cream machine. We have TV pods, we have sleep pods,
Yeah.
we have some arcades, but it's really the mindset of bringing employees together to collaborate. So there's Wi-Fi across the entire building. So if
great.
employees want to have meetings on the whiteboards next to the pool table or the ping pong table or the foosball table,
Yeah.
you can do that. It's fostering that collaborative workspace. That's the ultimate outcome.
I think that's great. It's such a fun floor, and
Yeah.
I think it's very unique that they not just only thought of extra space, they really looked at it and said, but what can we do with this space to
Yeah.
make it fun? And like you said, collaborative, to where people visiting, people working there, everyone can kind of come together and have fun. So I think it's
a lot of people.
great.
A lot of people don't realize too is there's intentionality in everything.
Mm-hmm.
So in addition to the employee space, we have the Breezeway, which is activated every Tuesday and Thursday with local artists performing.
Oh, wow.
In that Breezeway,
Okay.
we have Bread and Burger. So
Yes.
there's a burger restaurant with burgers, fries, and shakes. You've got Bread and Board in the building next to it. So the building next to the Vystar Tower is 100 West Bay.
Okay.
So that is a 7-story building, all Vystar employees. And then on the 7th floor, the rooftop is Estrella.
We just ate there last
Yes.
night.
Yep.
Phenomenal food and service. We're going back. So I was kind of excited to see you today because we were right there in the Vystar area. Seeing that so many of your employees have come to you and told you and Vystar staff how you've helped them, whether it was with a home loan, a car loan, financially, even just with family. Is there someone in your life that stands out to you as a mentor or someone who's inspired you that you can look back at your life and say, you know, I'm so thankful they were there?
Yeah. So, well, there's a couple people. So I'll start with Audrey Moran. So I had never met this lady a day in my life, and this had to be 2015. Leadership Jacks, you should know Leadership Jacks very well. Leadership Jacks invited me as a young professional to speak to the new leaders cohort, the
Okay.
executive cohort. And so it was me, Audrey Moran, and Tim Cost. And this was the first time I ever met Audrey. And I was the panelist giving feedback to the executives on how to engage the young professional employees that are working for their organizations.
Okay.
And the second time that I met Audrey was in my Leadership Jacks class. And she came in to speak, I believe it was on Health Day.
Okay.
She came in to speak, and the first thing that she said was, you have some superstars in this classroom, and one of them is Kemal Gasper.
Wow.
And, you know, had only met her once before. We exchanged texts and emails,
Yeah.
but just a lot of people know Audrey because she seeks out great talent and she puts them on a platform so that they continue to do good for Jacksonville.
Yeah.
So she's always been an advocate for me, so I love Audrey. We all love
That's
Audrey.
great.
Another one is Debbie Buckland. So the day that I started I've made my rounds in banking, but I hope to stay at Vystar. I plan to stay at Vystar for a long time. But the day I started at SunTrust, Debbie Buckland went to BB&T, literally the same day. So I text Debbie and I said, Debbie, I'm so excited to work for SunTrust, you know, work under you. I wasn't going to work for her, but I was going to work under her as she was the market president.
Yeah.
And Debbie always says, oh, my friend, if you talk to Debbie, she always starts, oh, my friend, she said she was going to BB&T. So fast forward probably a year and a half, I saw Debbie at a Jack's Chamber trustee luncheon, actually in passing in the elevator, and she said she knew that my job had changed at SunTrust. When I went to SunTrust, I was over financial wellness. They eliminated that position and I went to go do something else. And she said, we're looking for a financial wellness district manager.
Wow.
And she said, you'd be interested. I know that SunTrust eliminated the program. And I had never worked with Debbie before in my life, but she went to the executives at BB&T and said, we need to hire this gentleman for this position. I hadn't even applied for the job. And so that's why I bring up Audrey and Debbie, because they seek out talent. They seek out diverse talent. They're very intentional in what they do. And for her to put she has an aura about her
Yeah.
to put my career, put her name on the line for my career was amazing. And that's how I ended up at BB&T. And so again, when we talked about in the beginning, helping people, I was helped. I believe it's all karma.
Yeah,
Whatever you put out there, it comes back. So when you help people, people help you, and people don't even realize how they're helping you because you've put that good energy out there in the universe.
That's such a great story. I love getting to know that. And you not only rescue humans, you rescue pets. Tell us about your friendly little character at home.
So Ronnie, that was his name at the shelter, the Jack's Humane Society. And so I love Ronnie. I don't know what he is, but I think he's a pit bull lab mix. But he is a human. So he
great.
just is at love at home. I've rescued him on my birthday, or adopted him on my birthday in 2021.
Yeah.
I did the 3-day foster, so you can go to Humane Society and do an overnight stay with animals. And so I brought him home for the 3 days, and he didn't go back. But he just loves it. I encourage anyone that is looking for a pet to go to the Humane Society. They do great work.
Well, Kemal, just hearing that story, some might say you are an everyday hero, but I have to laugh and say I know that's actually a program of Vystar. Can you share with us what that's about?
Yeah, absolutely. So I believe last year we came out with an Everyday Heroes program and a Military Heroes program.
Okay.
So both of those programs help military personnel and their families, veterans, and then the Everyday Heroes program is frontline staff, doctors, dentists. It helps bus drivers, it helps nonprofit employees. And so the idea is that the everyday heroes are on our front lines helping people every day. And so we have a special mortgage program for individuals that are those everyday heroes, and then a special mortgage program for military heroes and their families. So it has a lot of discounts on closing costs, a lot of rebates. It's there to help those individuals achieve the dream of home ownership because they are heroes in the community that are moving the community forward.
That's awesome. Yeah. And I know one of the other passionate drives you have is financial wellness, not really just looking at, you need this loan and you need, X, Y, Z. You really look at the whole picture and say, how can I absolutely provide financial wellness as a whole picture to a family? Is that something that through your, I know you're currently pursuing your MBA.
Yes.
But is it through your education? Is it through watching your mom, and all of the ups and downs both of you have gone through? Where does that passion stem from?
So you pick up a lot of passions along the way. So it started with my mom. It started coming to Jacksonville and being helped. It continued with the payday loan company, Advance America. And it really took off. I used to work for a bank called Urban Trust Bank. I told you I made my rounds.
Yes.
But Urban Trust Bank actually was founded by Bob Johnson, founder of BET Television. So he bought a bank, changed the name to Urban Trust Bank, and expanded in several Walmarts throughout Florida. And we were not a second chance bank, but we were considered by many a second chance bank because we had second chance checking accounts.
Okay.
So those that may have owed a bank or had poor credit typically could get an account with Urban Trust Bank.
Okay.
And there I saw that while people had bank accounts, these bank accounts had high fees. So we're putting people in a product to get access, but then we're charging them these high fees.
Exactly, yeah.
And so I started to dig deeper in, why people struggle, why people do not have the traditional accounts, why individuals have poor credit, why people don't understand credit, why people don't understand budgeting. And I started doing a lot of work with United Way. I served on the Real Sense Steering Committee. Have you heard of the ALICE study?
I have not.
Okay. So the ALICE study stands for Assets Limited, Income Constrained, and the E stands employed.
Wow.
And it looks at how many people are underserved, unbanked, living paycheck to paycheck.
Okay.
And it looks at not just financial well-being, but physical and mental, because it's all intertwined together.
Okay.
And the latest study I believe that I heard is that 43 to 44% of individuals in Duval County live at or below the poverty level or are one paycheck away from homelessness.
Wow.
But when we sponsor events or when we give dollars to the community, we try to tie in how can we include financial wellness, financial education, and not just giving dollars, but how can we do a sponsorship with a purpose.
Okay. Wow, that's fantastic.
Yep.
So I can't end this interview without asking you where you see your future in the financial industry, because from rescuing humans and pets, giving back to the community, working with Vystar and all of their philanthropic efforts, where's Kemal 2.0 going?
I like it. You know, it's going to sound cliche, but I like to help people. I haven't said I want to go here or go there, but I really my career's been guided on how I can continue to help people as I grow, lift people up from beneath me that may need some help getting to where they need to go, because people have done that for me. But I just enjoy work. To me is not work. You know, I will go to work every day if I could, just because I want to try to help people. And where I want to go is how can we think outside of the box to help people? Because I think for me, the common goal is how can we continue to move Jacksonville forward? Jacksonville is, to me, and I think the secret's out, and I still sometimes think people don't believe, but Jacksonville, to me, is probably one of the best cities in the country. We have all the assets of a big city, but we still have that small mentality feel. For the most part, cost of living. Compared to other cities, I know we're currently in a crisis, but cost of living has been reasonable over the years. The job market is good. There's a friendly atmosphere here in Jacksonville. And if you want to go to Atlanta or Charlotte or Miami, it's only 5 hours away. Our airport now finally has a direct flight from Jacksonville to Los Angeles. I flew that, probably the best flight ever. But I just want to continue to help Jacksonville grow and move forward and progress. And whatever job or career could fit in that box for me, that's where I'm going to go. I haven't said I want to be a CEO or I want to run for office, but if there is an opportunity where I can continue to move Jacksonville forward, that's where I'm going to go.
So we're going to continue seeing you on the front page of the paper, right?
Yes, hopefully in good ways.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for your time today. I really enjoyed getting to know you, getting to know more about what you do, your passion. I hope all of you had fun getting to know Kemal today. And Kemal, if anyone does have any questions of how to better themselves financially, what's the best contact for you? Okay,
so I got to get this right. So it is Gasper, Gasper, so like Casper with a G.
Okay.
Gasper K at vystarcu.org. It's the best way to get in contact with me.
We'll make sure we display that at the end. Thank you again for your time.
Thank you for having me.
This was great. Absolutely. Thank you everyone for joining us.